Just look at that Silver Star shine. So if you're as big of a coaster enthusiast as I am, go ahead and subscribe to these channels. Number 10. Kumali at Flamingoland, made by Dutch manufacturer Vekoma. Among enthusiasts, Vekoma's suspended looping coaster is often considered to be the coaster equivalent of the Kidz Bop cover of Feel Good Inc. This model has been wildly criticized for its rough ride experience. However, not all SLCs are considered bad. This coaster features the same exact layout as Snow Mountain Flying Dragon at Happy Valley Shenzhen, which is actually quite different from most SLCs. Although the typical SLC has 5 inversions, Kumali has 4. These elements include a vertical loop, a cobra roll, and a zero-G roll, a completely different set than most SLCs. At 54.9 miles per hour, it's slightly faster as well. Surprisingly enough, despite the model's reputation, Kumali is said to be significantly smoother, giving a much more enjoyable ride experience than the typical SLC. Even without Vekoma's updated vest restraints, Kumali is still considered to be among Britain's best inverted coasters. With its wild intensity and action-packed layout, there's no doubt this coaster is an A-list attraction at Flamingoland. Number 9. Saw the Ride at Thorpe Park, made by German manufacturer Gerstlauer. What happens when you combine an unabashedly gruesome horror movie franchise with a roller coaster? You get Saw the Ride. Located just outside of London, Thorpe Park is home to some of the biggest and best roller coasters in the UK. Perhaps the most elaborately themed thrill ride of the bunch is Saw the Ride, a Eurofighter model from Gerstlauer. Based on the hit horror film series Saw, this coaster is themed to the trademark traps of the famous Jigsaw character. Passengers board the ride vehicles and are whisked away into a fictional do-or-die escape situation. Starting off with an indoor segment, the trains will maneuver past swinging pendulums, deadly spikes, and flying needles, before entering a heartline roll past an unfortunate cadaver. Immediately afterwards, the train will ascend a vertical lift before plunging down a beyond vertical 100-degree drop. Passengers reach a top speed of 55 miles per hour as they narrowly avoid a set of rotating saw blades overhead. This drop is followed by an Immelmann, an overbanked corner, an airtime hill, and a dive loop. Though it's not the tallest or fastest Eurofighter on Earth, its layout is jam-packed with variety, and its theming is on par with Mystery Mine at Dollywood. If you're a horror movie buff, this coaster has your name written all over it. Number 8. Millennium at Fantasy Island, made by Dutch manufacturer Vekoma. Here we have another famous Vekoma coaster model, the MK1200. This was actually the first ever model made by the company, with other examples including the famous Corkscrew at Alton Towers. Millennium at Fantasy Island would be the last one of these models ever made, and it really went out with a bang here. First opening in 1999, this coaster was built to celebrate the new millennium. The layout actually circles around the park's signature pyramid complex, and it looks like something straight out of Planet Coaster. At 55.9 miles per hour, this ride sends passengers zooming through the layout. After descending a curved drop, riders will head immediately into a vertical loop. This element is followed by a sidewinder, a helix, and yet another vertical loop. All the while, you'll go zooming over park guests below, allowing for some excellent off-ride photo opportunities. So even if you don't like riding roller coasters, you can still stand and marvel at this impressive work of engineering. Number 7. The Swarm at Thorpe Park, made by Swiss manufacturer B&M. First opening in 2012, this is the first and only wing coaster to open in the UK. Themed to an alien apocalypse, the Swarm takes guests through a ravaged landscape. Its strong layout features 5 different inversions, giving the ride some excellent variety throughout. Starting off with a first-of-its-kind dive drop, guests will be sent soaring through a zero-G roll, an incline loop, a corkscrew, and an inline twist at a top speed of 57 miles per hour. One thing worth noting is that the speed of this ride is often debated. Many sources say it's 57 miles per hour, while others claim it to be 59. Even the ride's Wikipedia page contradicts itself, so it's a safe bet that this ride is somewhere in the middle. Like Saw the Ride, this coaster also incorporates themed elements throughout the course. A downed airplane wing, a punctured billboard, and even the supports themselves give excellent head chopper effects. Guests will truly feel like they are about to smash into these themed elements face first. Overall, the strong theming and smooth inversion-packed layout has made the Swarm well received by coaster enthusiasts. It is often ranked among Thorpe Park's best rides, but it won't be the last of their coasters to make this list. Number 6. Speed No Limits at Oakwood Theme Park, manufactured by Gerstlauer. Unlike the other coasters on this list, this one is in Wales instead of England. Located in the county of Pembrokeshire, Oakwood Theme Park has been thrilling Welsh enthusiasts since 1987. This park has an impressive 5 roller coasters in its lineup, more than any other park in Wales. Its most thrilling attraction by far is Speed No Limits. Like Saw the Ride, this is another Eurofighter model. Though it doesn't have elaborate theming, Speed No Limits is both taller and faster. After a 97-degree drop, passengers go barreling through the course at a top speed of 59 miles per hour. What's really unique about this coaster is that it doesn't start off with an inversion right after the drop. Instead, riders head straight into an impressive airtime hill before turning east into a vertical loop. This layout is unlike any other Eurofighter on the market, and as the tallest, fastest, and steepest coaster in Wales, it's a must-do for British enthusiasts. Number 5. Rita at Alton Towers, made by Swiss manufacturer Intamin. This was the first hydraulic launch roller coaster ever to open in the UK. First opening in 2005, this coaster was originally named Rita Queen of Speed. The name of this ride originates from the drag racing concept of giving cars female names. And here's a fast fact. On April 9th, 2005, the ride was actually renamed Camilla Queen of Speed in honor of the royal wedding of Prince Charles and Camilla. The coaster would be installed in the park's now defunct Ugland, a caveman-themed area. Though a ride themed to hot rod racing may seem out of place in a caveman area, it's really no stranger than King's Dominion opening a NASCAR-themed ride in a safari area. This coaster model is known as an accelerator, and is the same exact model as the famous Kingda Ka and Top Thrill dragster. Though not as tall or fast as those coasters, it still has appeal as a launch coaster. At 61.1 miles per hour, passengers are sent through a compact course of bank turns and airtime hills. Though the ride's layout as a whole has received a mixed response from enthusiasts, the starting launch has been wildly praised all around. Though it's relatively short compared to other accelerators, Rita serves its purpose as the park's premier launch coaster. Number 4. The Odyssey at Fantasy Island, manufactured by Vekoma. Yet another Fantasy Island coaster is this impressive SLC. Originally named the Jubilee Odyssey, this coaster was named in honor of Queen Elizabeth II's 50th year on the throne. This occasion was marked by the Golden Jubilee, an international celebration that served as the namesake for this coaster. Upon its inception, this coaster was initially planned to be 265 feet, which would have made it the tallest inverted coaster of all time. However, local residents were concerned about the noise, as well as the tall ride being an eyesore in the community. So the ride was scaled down to 167 feet, which still makes it the tallest full-circuit inverted roller coaster in all of Europe. First opening in 2002, this coaster was sponsored by the world-famous Kit Kat bar, and Prince Edward, Duke of Kent would take the inaugural ride on it. Though it was scaled back from its original plans, it still had several notable factors to it. At 62 miles per hour, this is the only inverted coaster in the country to be faster than 60. In addition, it is the only Vekoma SLC to have a completely custom layout. Said layout features a 124-foot tall vertical loop, which is the tallest inversion of its kind on an inverted coaster. Its massive scale and unique layout has led the Odyssey to be labeled as the best SLC in the world among well-traveled enthusiasts. Both this and Millennium make Fantasy Island more than worth visiting. Number 3. Oblivion at Alton Towers, manufactured by B&M. 4 years after adding the world-famous Nemesis, Alton Towers would introduce a first-of-its-kind roller coaster to the park's lineup. This model, known as a dive coaster, would focus on a suspenseful and incredibly steep drop. After ascending the lift hill, passengers approach the drop with burning anticipation. Just before the plunge, a device known as a holding brake perches guests at the crest, practically forcing them to look down before the inevitable descent. While many of these coasters exist today, Oblivion has a few unique factors as the prototype. Unlike other dive coasters, Oblivion has neither inversions nor a full 90-degree drop. In order to keep the wheels firmly on the rails, the drop is actually 87.5 degrees. It wasn't until the later innovation of spring-loaded wheels that B&M was able to make a true 90-degree drop. Moreover, despite being only 65 feet above the ground, the drop is a whopping 180 feet. This is due to its impressive underground tunnel, which is one of the most praised elements of the ride. Passengers reach a max speed of 68 miles per hour on the way down, and the dark tunnel adds an extra sense of dread to the ride experience. As you can imagine, the coaster was a bona fide hit at the time of its opening, and it ended up boosting the park's attendance. Despite its prototype nature, many agree it still holds up to this day with its terrifying drop into the tunnel that well represents Oblivion. Number 2, the big one at Blackpool Pleasure Beach, made by American manufacturer Aerodynamics. 5 years after opening the classic Magnum XL 200 at Ohio Cedar Point, Aero would take their hypercoaster model across the Atlantic. This ride will be sponsored by the Pepsi Company and be themed to the Pepsi Max soft drink. Its original name would even be the Pepsi Max Big One, which makes me wonder what would happen if YouTube sponsorships worked the same way. After months of construction, the ride would open as the fastest coaster in the UK and the tallest roller coaster in the world. It would stand at a record-breaking 213 feet tall and take riders through the course at an impressive 74 miles per hour. Located near the shore, this coaster gives a breathtaking view of the Irish Sea. The long, sprawling layout zooms past several of the park's attractions, including Infusion and Steeplechase. There are also segments that actually go through the historic Big Dipper and Nickelodeon Streak. One fun fact worth pointing out is the ride station. Due to a lack of available space, a vertical lift mechanism is used to store. It's pretty cool. To this day, the big one remains the tallest roller coaster in the UK, but the fastest is Stealth at Thorpe Park, manufactured by Intamin. For over a decade, this ride has served as the fastest roller coaster in the entire United Kingdom. Just 1 year after Rita's opening, Intamin would construct yet another accelerator in England. This one, though, would be a lot taller and faster. Starting off with a hydraulic launch, passengers hit a top speed of 80 miles per hour in just under 2 seconds. This insane launch heads straight into an intimidating top hat. Guests crest the top